proud dad of a beautiful daughter, and he is expecting his first son. Well, his wife and he are expecting their first son in just a couple of weeks. He is based in Dallas, Texas, so he is down in the DFW. He is my good friend. He is the host of the Relationship Rehab radio show that is featured on YouTube, and he is also the host of United Guns of America, which is also on a YouTube channel. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from the DFW, my good friend, Mr. Brian Redmond. Hey, brother. Uh-oh, look at this. Wait a minute. Is that a screen in a screen?
Oh, wait. I messed it up. Hold on. I got to change that.
I love it.
I'm like, why is it doing that? Yes.
I love it. It's me on multiple TV. Look. Anything to follow me.
Oh, my goodness. That is my, yeah, I got to change that. Oh, man. I'm sitting here like, wait.
Look, now you got me. Look, I need all of that. Look, I need all of that. How you doing, brother? Glad to see you.
I'm good.
Look, I
Same
need
here.
all of that.
Same here, brother. I'm doing just well. I'm well, man. It's so good to be here. So good to see you again. And, man, I can't tell you how just the course of events through life has just brought us all the way back. And over the years, we are like still friends, still talking, staying in touch with each other. It's just, man, it's glad to see that brothers can have friendships that stand the test of time. It really
absolutely. Because, Brian, I'm trying to remember, you and I originally met at one of my relationship chats. Is that where we're on 47th Street?
Yes. And I don't remember.
Do you remember exactly?
I don't remember how it was that we came down there, but that's where I met you at one of those relationships. And people don't know this, but you were actually one of the people that were instrumental with me just doing what I'm doing now today. You were like the first person that I saw, especially a brother, that was doing stuff about relationships, doing things about, how we interact with each other as men and women. And I always loved talking about that kind of stuff. And that's why I used to always come to the chats and always support you. And then it was like so inspiring for me to say, I want to do this. And over the years and over time, I was always that friend. And I've even heard you say this before. I was always that friend that people came to with their relationship problems. Man, what am I gonna do about this? Man, this girl is doing this, or this guy here, this what happened with this guy. I was always that guy. And it was like, I got so much wisdom from the old people around me and my elders that I just learned, just life lessons and just through experience. And it really inspired me to begin to do what I'm doing. And it's like to be starting out that way and to have the desire and then to finally actually go forth and start doing it in 2016. And then to be right back here on a show with you, man, God is good, man. That's all I can say.
Well, you're absolutely right about that. And the story that you told is absolutely correct. You know, what I used to always enjoy whenever you and I would sit down and laugh and talk at the events, your thoughts and my thoughts were absolutely the same. Two different lifestyles, two different walks of life, everything.
Yes.
But when it came to giving people advice on things, me and you was dead on. A lot of times at the chat, people would say things. I would look over in the corner and me and you would just be cracking up laughing. We like, wait a damn minute. What did you not get? What did you, right. And that's how our bond developed. And, and then when you went into the relationship business, I was just so happy because I feel we don't have enough Black men that are out here talking about love and healthy relationships. Right. And how to develop, and be better people. And so, no, brother, I am honored that you, followed in my footsteps, as they would say.
Yes.
But, you've always been a dynamic brother, and I've just watched you, just continue to pivot and do different things. So I'm happy for you too.
Yeah, it was, I'm telling you, man, I was just really just amazed at like just getting ready for the show, getting ready to do things for the show. I was just like, this is like, so it's like, it's just one of the things where it's like, yes, I like doing things for people and people can enjoy this, but this is like a thing for me. I'm like excited. I'm like, man, this is my thing. I'm with my brother. We doing this thing together. Man, it's just one of those days where it's like, I really enjoy the content, because sometimes I do shows and I do stuff and it's like, this is something I really don't want to do, but I need to do it because it's for somebody else. But today,
Yeah.
I'm being a little selfish. I'm on the show with my brother, and this is what it is. So, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
I really am.
Well, brother, I love you. I'm loving all the accoutrements and tricks. I get to see myself in every angle. I love it. It's an honor and a pleasure. We have a lot to talk about tonight. Not only are you co-host, but you being a young Black father in America, we have been watching how things have been unfolding recently. Yes. And I just can't wait to talk to you on your opinion. Tonight, we're going to talk about what Black America should know about politics. I think that's great. Then you and I are going to talk later on about relationship mistakes that we constantly make. And again, that's how you and I got to know each other from our relationship. Just agreeing about some things. And then you are going to share a message with us tonight about the importance and impact of fatherhood. And I just think that's great as well, too. So I'm just honored to have you here. Let's start. Look, as they said, let's get this party started. All right. Well, on this show, we always start off by giving the state numbers on COVID-19. And today, the state released the following numbers. Health officials reported that 546 new confirmed cases of coronavirus. Unfortunately, we had 87 additional deaths as of today. The death tally now marks nearly 2 weeks since Illinois saw more than 100 fatalities. Because remember, in the last couple of days, I had been saying the numbers were dropping. Things, it seems as if people weren't passing away. And our deepest condolences to everybody who has lost a family member. The state also announced a record number of COVID-19 test results with 29,987 of you all actually going out and getting tested. So that's really great news that more and more people are going out and getting tested. Now, Brian, you're down there in Dallas, where right now it's hotter than Hades down there. I'm sure.
Loving it. I'm loving this heat. Yes, I've been down here for...
I know you are, and I'm sure y'all down there butt naked at the rodeo bar drinking and carrying on and,
I only put on clothes for this show. Yeah, everybody down in Texas, we all naked. I just put on clothes for the show.
What's the latest deal with the COVID situation down there in Dallas?
Well, the thing about it is Texas' approach to how things have been going here, it's kind of like picked up a little bit, which was to be expected just because of the we're a little bit relaxed down here. Like everybody up in Chicago, everybody forced to wear masks and all that kind of stuff. But down here, we're kind of like, okay, we're going to let this thing do what it do and let it be what it is. And we'll figure it out as it goes. So it's kind of been lax, but it's picking back up. One of the other things too, is that everything is pretty much open down here now again. I think the only thing that's left is just like sporting events. But the majority of the stuff here is pretty much open. So we've had a slight uptick in some of the COVID numbers. It has increased, but it was expected. And that was the thing that everybody thought that it was eventually going to change at some point. And it did. And I knew that would happen eventually, but it's now it's now uptick a little bit. But like I said, everybody's expected that.
Wow. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, here in Illinois, as of today, bars were able to open, limited capacity. Today, we also got permission to kind of do a New Orleans thing. In New Orleans, you can get you a drunken daiquiri to go or icy to go, and you can kind of have the alcohol.
So you can have open liquor down in Chicago now on the streets?
You can to go. It's called to go, and it's in a sealed package. You're really not supposed to consume it in the vehicle, because that could be a whole nother situation. And services like Grubhub and Uber Eats will not be able to deliver you, a daiquiri from a restaurant or anything like that. And bar patrons here are only allowed to stay at the bar for 2 hours, no more than 6 people at a table, and they want the bars to put the tables on the outside. So bars with patios, things like that. Oh yeah, no. We are still very much under quarantine.
Yeah, man. See, I don't know. I'm more on the other side of this. I'm not one of those people that's that where I'm aware of the virus, and I'm really, my biggest concern are for people that are high risk, people that got the respiratory issues, the high blood pressure, the diabetes, all those people, the old folks, they should be shelter in place. They really, really should be, because
well, on behalf of we old folks with issues, thank you, Brian. We appreciate it.
Yeah, y'all get to stay inside.
Yes, grandma and grandpa and all of us, we appreciate you. We thank
Nana
you,
and Papa
Lord, for being so generous to us. I digress.
Yeah. Nana and Papa need to be in the house.
Right. Thank you for all us old folks. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. But it's like, I guess my thing is this, just with, the information that I've been gathering and looking at both sides of it, it's one of those things to where we can't let this like take us and shut us all the way down, because what we built will begin to crumble. But I do think that we have to have caution. But it's one of those things to where, like, a lot of people don't know this, but viruses never go away. They never go away. So they always going to be here. It's just that they decrease the more that we're around each other. And as nasty as this sounds, but the more we're exchanging germs and bacteria and stuff like that, that actually boosts our immune system. And the reason why I know that is because I was in the Chicago public school system as an instructional assistant and as a computer technician for over 10 years. Yeah. So it's like, I very rarely get sick, but in the beginning, I used to get sick all the time when I first started being around them little kids and being in the classrooms. But it built up my immune system. And a lot of old teachers, when you look at them, they don't get sick that often. So, and that's part of the reason why, because they've exchanged those germs and that bacteria with those kids over time. So younger people and people that are not high risk, they kind of like got to go through it so that we can, beat this thing for real. So it's not tearing us down like it's been doing. So.
Well, Brian, I'm not coming out the house until the governor says it is officially booty call season. when he get up and do a press conference,
you stay on the side.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we are now in stage 6, and stage 6 includes booty calls. I'm not trying to boost my immune system with nobody else's nothing. That's
right. Well, Chat Daddy needs to stay on this side.
Yes, I'm going to stay on this cast. Since I fall in that category of the aged and whatever, but until the governor does a conference that says we at level 6 now,
right?
And all calls can go back to booty call stages. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to do it.
By the time the press conference over, the door be closing and you be outside going down the steps.
Once he said, but, and I said, he's going to approve booty calls. Once he said, but, I said, he going to approve booty calls.
He's going to approve booty calls. I'm out.
And that's when I'm going to get back out there. But otherwise, until booty calls are approved, I will not be out with the public like that. Every now and then, y'all might see me.
Duly noted. Duly noted.
Duly noted. Please, duly noted. All right.
Man.
So very good. All right. Well, let's continue on with Brian today. The top news story has been all about one of my beloved favorites. And I don't know, you being a young Black man from Chicago, I'm sure some of these people have been on the shelves in your home. There was a big hoopla today about the fact that Quaker Oats, a subsidiary of PepsiCo, announced today that they will retire Aunt Jemima or Aunt Jemima, or however you all say it, brand of syrups and pancake mixes, saying that the company recognizes that Aunt Jemima or Aunt Jemima origins are based on a racial stereotype. And so, Brian, some people are for this and some people are not for this. And I'm talking about people that look like you and I. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I'm a little torn now. And I'm curious to know what you, young man, would have to say about this. And let's go with this. I'm curious. Where we at?
Well, my thing would be this. As long as they gonna replace it with a Shaquita, I'm fine. No, I'm just kidding. It's like this. It's like this. I mean, I get the whole mammy stereotype. I'm well aware of what the mammy represents. And yes, Aunt Jemima and Mrs. Butterworth for that matter, they are quite mammy-ish. They embody the whole mammy, whatever you want to call it. They do that. And if it's offensive to people, then my thing would be this. It's like, how has it been around all of this time? And I know in my cabinet right now, my wife got a bottle of Jemima and syrup in the cabinet.
Right.
That's what she eats. So it's like, if we're offended by it, then it should have been something that we've been talking about. It should have been a problem for us. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, my thing is this. I look at us as black folks. Yes, we got our ratchet people, but there's a good portion of us, whether we're doing the right thing or not, we're highly intelligent enough to know what's right and what's wrong. And
okay.
And that's one of the things that I was going to talk about as far as like the politics thing. We got to have this thing to where what we want and what we're standing for, it has to be done in righteousness, to say, hey, if this is offensive, then let it be offensive, not just when it's another hot button for somebody, or not when somebody's offering this up to us to say, well, we'll do this and change this too. It's like the statues that they're taking down. If there was really a problem with those statues, if they really offended us, we should have been talking about those. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if it's really a problem, because to me, that doesn't represent my mama. It doesn't represent my wife. We are not in that place anymore. So could it be removed? Yeah, it could be. Do we necessarily need to keep it? I don't know. It doesn't really bother me. There are far more important things on my radar as a black man, and being concerned about our race than Aunt Jemima.
Oh, now everything you said, I appreciate it. I'm putting some thought into it, and here's the deal. I'm gonna share a story with you. A good friend of mine's was raised by his grandmother. His mother had him when she was young, really, out there in the streets. Grandmother raised him, and the grandmother all of a sudden died. So it was him and the mother.
Okay.
The mother really didn't know how to cook because she was spending most of the time in the streets, and never really got that cooking skill from that old school grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
He said that when he learned to shop and went to go buy things, he looked for products that had older looking black people on that, because he said that was a sign from him, from his grandmother, that this product is going to be like what grandmama would make.
Wow.
And I told him, I said, you know what? I agree with him as well, too. When I moved into my first, as they say, luxury, fabulous place, I actually put a mammy. They used to make the little kitchen dolls that was the black mammy. I put one over my stove so that she could watch my food and bless my food. And, so for a lot of us, that symbol of Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben's was like, look, this is how you getting ready to have you something like these people would make for you. Very stereotypical now, very offensive and stereotypical.
Yes.
But for a lot of us, that was that symbol that you was getting ready to have something like Big Mama would make.
Yeah. That's now that I would have never thought about it like that. That's actually quite eye-opening. And for somebody to use that as their compass to buy food and stuff like that, that's really eye-opening for me. I never even thought of it like that. But it's like, I don't know. It's kind of, what it kind of reminds me of when we do this kind of stuff. It kind of reminds me of like when we use the N-word. Kind of reminds me of the N-word. So it's like, Ja Rule can say it, 50 Cent can say it, Lil Yachty can say it, Lil Wayne can say it, but we don't want nobody else to call us that. If it's really that offensive to us, then why wouldn't we be the first ones not to use it? And that's one of the things that, and I've had this conversation with several people, and they all, no, you got it wrong, no, you got it wrong. And I say, well, let's just think about this and be logical. If I don't want nobody, if nigga is offensive to me, I wouldn't want nobody to call me that. Not even my dearest friends. If it's really offensive to me, and you a word, it's a different meaning for us, and what it's the ER and the A, that's just the twang of it being from up north or down south. It's the same thing. So it's like those things that really do offend us, they should be out, period. Like if somebody calls me the B word, I don't know if we can cuss on here or not, but if somebody calls me the B word, I'm offended by that. Plain and simple. Now it's disrespectful to me for anybody to call me that, regardless of your color, regardless of where you from. It's
you mean the BITCH word?
Yes.
Yeah, for you, yeah. But for
yeah.
me, I'll be like, hey.
But I was just about to say that. But see, yes, you'll turn that back around and there you go. You be like, hey, bitch, bitch, you see, bitches, you see. Don't you got a hat that say, bitch, I'm famous?
Right, exactly. So for me, I ain't offended.
Exactly.
But for you, yes, sir, a husband, or all of that, you right.
Exactly.
You shouldn't be called no B.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like for other people, it could be a term of endearment. So it's like in that same tone, it's like if somebody else called you that, it's different for you than it is for me. Why wouldn't it be the same thing for Aunt Jemima? It may be offensive to me, which is why I won't buy it or I won't support it, or I could like it, and it could, like you just said, be something that actually guides me along making a purchase. Like, I bought this because this old lady's on here. I think it's going to taste good. That really shows the fact that it's like we have to be more realistic in the things that we're going to condemn and try to be as righteous as we possibly can. For me to try to say black folks shouldn't use the B word anymore, I can't say that because there are people who really are cool with it. But then I can't, if somebody called me one, being like, let's say if I'm at a party with you and somebody be like, bitch, are you something? I wouldn't be like, hey, don't be calling Art no bitch. I'm not going to do that because I know where I'm at and I know who's around. I know what it means for those people, for that, for that particular person. So it's like, just be a little righteous in what we're trying to condemn and what we actually want to go after as far as change is concerned, is my point.
Well, you made a valid point there. And here's the one thing. June is actually Black Music Month. And if I could ever speak to the music and record labels and people who create our music, I really would ask for a change in how our music is presented. Now, I know the female executives, we had the Blackout Tuesday, that day that I was late to the party and didn't know about, which I feel as if y'all should do the Blackout Tuesday now into ever. Just to show your support and what you mean by Blackout Tuesday. But I'm just tired of all of our new music being explicit, vulgar. I belong to a music streaming service, and they offer me different varieties of music because of what I listen to, and I love all forms of music, from operas to a dirge to you name it. I love music. Anytime they recommend a Black R&B or hip hop type of thing, every song is explicit. You can't find no song that ain't explicit. And I'm just like, man, why are we so overly sexualized? Why are we, I don't get it.
And it really had people. We try to make it, because you'll hear a lot of people say, well, it's just the artistry part of it, or it's just the music part of it. Yeah, but you also have to realize that, an artist and what an artist creates, it's inspiring and it has an impact on how people feel. It gives people a certain feeling about themselves. It actually has an effect on you, just like colors on a wall. If you're in a certain room and it's painted a certain color, it's been proven that it can make you feel a certain way. So it's like those kind of things. I can't give you a pass on, it's just the music, because that music, it has a certain level of programming. It has a certain level of indoctrination to it, to where you have to be able to make a choice to say, well, am I just going to expose somebody to just this or to different things? When you look at the 70s, music was about reality. It was about sex. And it was about love, but it was more all encompassing than it is now. It's now, bitch, I got on these shoes. Bitch, I got this bag. I got this car. I move this dope. And I got this jewelry. And I'm out here and I'm shooting and killing anybody that I don't like. That's essentially what you cover. And it's like, you can talk about those things, but let it be more encompassing, the way you're covering a different variety of stuff. That would be my thing.
Yes, sir. I agree with you 100%. Very good. All right. So here's the deal. Other brands that probably will eventually be changing today. The makers, Mars, who produces Uncle Ben's rice, said that Uncle Ben will no longer be on the rice box. He got to go.
They
Child, we're going to have so
canceling
many
Uncle
funerals.
Ben.
We getting ready to have so many funerals. Lord have mercy. I'm telling you.
Why they canceling Uncle Ben? What's wrong with Uncle Ben?
I'm emotional about this because much like my friend, I kind of got what he was saying, that you knew that when you got that box or whatever, baby, that was how Big Mama made it. That's not, this some down home stuff I'm getting ready to eat. As offensive as it may be, you did know that, or you had that.
But wait, what's wrong with Uncle Ben though? What did Uncle Ben do?
Uncle Ben gotta go too.
Uncle Ben wasn't Ben dressed kind of dapper? Don't he have like a ruffled shirt on? Yeah.
Aunt Jemima was a former slave named Nancy Green, who was later hired to portray Aunt Jemima in real life, or a mammy. Wow. And she was depicted as a female slave, always smiling, happy homemaker for the white family. So she was, you know, the yes sir, that type of thing. Another brand that probably will eventually have to change is the cream of wheat. As you guys all know, it's the black man with the bowl looking in the cream of wheat.
Don't cream of wheat. Don't he got a hat on? No, ain't he like a chef?
Yeah, but he black. He black. He black. And he's serving you that bowl of cream of wheat. He's serving you that bowl of cream of wheat. So,
yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes. And another thing, Sambo, Little Black Sambo, the restaurant Sambo.
I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah, that's actually offensive.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but here's the deal, brother. You and I grew up in a world of offensive things, but we never really thought it was offensive. I used to always tell people I thought that the Harold's Chicken Shack symbol and sign was crazy as hell.
Now, I'm telling you right now, I will catch a plane and come to Chicago and protest if they take Harold down. Now, y'all going too far. Chicago gonna stand up.
This man running with this hatchet after the chicken, and they used to have the billboards where the chicken would be running with his head ducking back and forth. So, I mean, but again, you knew that was some damn good ass chicken because this black man is shaking.
That man, that's fresh.
Right.
They cutting that chicken right there. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm telling y'all right now. Y'all can talk about Aunt Jemima. Y'all can go after Uncle Ben. Y'all can go after cream of wheat. But y'all better not touch Nan hair on Harold's chicken head. I swear for Lord.
Oh my God.
Y'all better not do it.
Millennial Vote said they're not changing the content in the box, but the marketing on the box, which I get that. I do. But I guarantee you, it's going to be a lot of people like my friend that was taught that. He said that's all he knew. That's all he did, and really when you think about it, it's all the same product. It's just different boxes, all that. It's not, people think that, oh, so-and-so's corn, their corn is better. No, all that corn is made one place, put in cans, put labels on it, and sent where it used to be,
Yeah, that's
so
true.
Yes. All right.
Wow.
So yes. So we'll see a change in that. We want to send a shout out to our brother Tyler Perry down in Atlanta. Tyler Perry has offered to pay for the funeral expenses of the late Rayshard Brooks, who was the black man that was shot and killed by an Atlanta police officer last Friday night. He will also pay for the college tuition of Brooks' 4 children once they become of college age. This is the 4th time. Tyler has done this more than 4 times that he's put himself out there to take care and pay for. And then I guess formal charges have been filed against the police in the shooting of Mr. Brooks today.
Yeah. Now, those of you who don't know me, let me preface this. I come from a police family. My daddy was a Chicago police officer for 30 years as a sergeant. I was a police officer in Michigan for almost 2 years. So I know quite a bit about policing, and I know quite a bit about the law. And my thing was this, because I was even having this discussion on social media with a couple people and some people offline. My thing is this: when we see something that we feel that a police officer may do that's wrong, we have to look at it like this. Police officers' job is to enforce the law. The whole thing about the serve and protect, the stuff you used to see on cars, you don't see that anymore. And the reason why is because they changed that. The police job is to enforce the law. And I've heard people say things like, oh, they could have just called this guy an Uber. They could have let him go. They could have let him sleep it off. And they could not have done that. You can't let a man who has a DUI go. And the reason why is because he could go and hurt not just himself, but someone else. That's and right. And I actually did a whole show about this, and I broke down the whole video. They went through every possible scenario they possibly could to test this guy with his field sobriety test, and he failed it. Once you fail a field sobriety test, you're supposed to go to jail. Now, up until that point to where they started to put the cuffs on him, in my opinion, he was a good guy, and those were good police officers. They were giving him the best possible chance to pass this test, and he didn't. We have to get out of our minds to stop fighting the police. If you want to fight the police, you do it in a courtroom, not on these streets. Because at the end of the day, they can charge them police officers. They can go through all of this, and we can march on the streets, and we can burn up every Wendy's in Atlanta. My biggest thing is this: that man died over a DUI. Yeah. And we need to value ourselves more, to say that I'm not gonna fight this police officer, because when was the last time you seen somebody just whoop 2, 3, 4, 5 police butts and they walk off into the sunset and it's good? I said I've only seen it once, and that was in the movie Enter the Dragon when Jim Kelly did it. He beat 2 police officers, hopped in their car and drove off. That's the only time I've seen it done. So it's like, if we want to change policing, we have to do it in the law books. We can't do it on the streets and in the moment when we're getting arrested. You don't do it that way. And it's like, yes, Tyler Perry's doing a wonderful thing, paying for the funeral or paying for these kids to go to college. Ain't nothing Tyler Perry got that can replace those kids' father. Those babies have lost their daddy. And when they graduate from high school, when they graduate from college, when they go and do all these wonderful things that I'm hoping and praying that they do in their lives, they're going to still miss their daddy along the way. And we going to live our lives, but they're living their lives, and they have a big missing piece of their lives that's gone over a simple DUI.
Well, now quite a few people are giving me response back to this conversation that we're having. And, you know, with your dad being a former Chicago police officer, you being raised around police officers, a lot of people are saying that, you know, it's rough on us here in Chicago, even New York, LA, the process where black people are always in jeopardy when it comes to things that's wrong. I am on your side about
Wait, your audio is breaking up.
Can you hear me still?
Okay, I can hear you now. It was breaking up a little bit.
Okay, it's people of all races that show their behinds, that do the wrong thing. We should be held responsible for that. But what do you say to the police is wrong and bad? You still there?
Nope. It was going in and out again once you started talking. Dang it. Okay, there we go.
All right. So they want to know, how did Brother Floyd fight the police? Please answer that.
Millennial Votes, you can go to my YouTube channel and you will see me, as the young folks say, drag the police in my video. Yeah, I went hard on the police in that video. Please, you can go to my channel and watch that. I've always said, even when I was trained as a police officer, once you get the cuffs on anybody, game is over. There's nothing else to be done except for me to put you in the car and take you to jail. The second after they got them cuffs on that man and he did anything else to him, he was dead ass wrong. And I hope that they bring the electric chair to that man's house, plug it up on his front porch, and fry him like a chicken. I absolutely believe that. In that instance, regardless of George Floyd's past, what he did to a pregnant woman, how many times he had been to jail, it did not matter. You had that man in custody, and whatever you did to him after you got him in custody, you were dead wrong. There is no justification for that. So you can check me on that one, and you can follow up on that. I did a good show about that one, but yeah, that one was
Okay.
totally wrong.
All right, very good. Well, let me bring everybody into the loop. You're watching the Wednesday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. I am your host, Chat Daddy. I am here Monday through Thursday night from 7 until 8:30 p.m. It's been going to 9 o'clock some nights. Who knows? We are in the midst of a global pandemic right now. You've had to have been under a rock or somewhere if you have not known that we have been experiencing what is considered COVID-19 or the coronavirus. I hope you and your family are safe and healthy. Don't forget to wear your mask. Don't forget to wash your hands, sanitize, continue to social distance, whatever you can do to keep yourself healthy, safe, and wonderful. Tonight, we're paying homage to fathers. This coming Sunday is Father's Day, as well as it is the first official day of summer. All this week, we've been talking about amazing fathers and things that fathers do. And tonight, we have a young man who I consider a good friend of mine. And we just love to debate and talk about a lot of different things. He is Mr. Brian Redman. He is the creator of the Relationship Rehab radio show that is on YouTube. He has another wonderful show. He is the dad of one and one on its way. His first son is on its way, and we're very excited about that. And he is coming to us tonight from Dallas, the DFW, where it is extremely hot down there. It's hot here in Chicago, but it's scorching down there in Dallas. And so, Brian, are you enjoying yourself so far?
Man, I am, man. I'm having a great time. I'm having a great time.
Good. I'm glad you're here with me tonight. We've covered quite a few things. I want to remind everyone that our good friends over at Real Men Cook are having a virtual celebration this year. Real Men Cook was started in 1990. Can you believe that?
Wow.
And they're still going strong because of the global pandemic. They had to go viral this year. We want to know, what are your plans for Father's Day? Are you cooking? Are you putting something on the grill? Join the wonderful people over at Real Men Cook 2020. You text the word Real Men Cook. That's Real Men Cook to 844-773 8392. Again, that's 844-773-8392. Text the word Real Men Cook and find out how they're doing this amazing virtual celebration to celebrate Father's Day. And tomorrow night, the founder of Real Men Cook, as well as a couple of chefs, will stop by and they'll talk to me about the 2020 virtual celebration and what they have planned and what's in store. All right? Real Men Cook. Yes.
That's awesome.
All right, Brian. Man, did we finish covering what Black folks need to know about politics?
I guess not. The only couple things I wanted to mention about it, and I can do that real quick, is number one, it's like Black folks, we have to remember and accept the fact that, hey, your vote counts. Your vote counts. I mean, there are some people, especially some young people, that are just not voting. And I don't understand why they would think that that's okay. People died in order for us to have this power. They really did. They gave their lives. They sacrificed a lot for us to be able to just exercise our right as Americans and have this power to be able to change things in our community. So it's like your vote counts. Number two, my biggest thing is this. We have to start thinking for ourselves. Black folks, think for yourselves. Don't just go along with the status quo. Don't just follow the man that the preacher bring up in the pulpit every time election year come around. Start doing your research on these candidates. Start looking at these candidates instead of what you're just seeing on Facebook posts and what you're just seeing on the major news networks. We have too much information in the palm of our hands. If we can find out what's going on with Cardi B and Offset, we should be able to find out what's going on with any potential candidate that is running in our local communities first and foremost, and work our way on up to the White House, all the way up on 1600 Pennsylvania. Absolutely make sure you're thinking for yourself. When you go and you punch that ballot, know the person that you voting for and why you voting for them. And last but definitely not least, vote your interests. Stop worrying about, and this is to all my black folks, stop worrying about what this person did for the Hispanics, what this person did for the Italians, what this person did for the Asians, what this person did for the white folk. If the candidate you voting for ain't doing nothing for you, then that's where you need to say, well, hey, why am I voting for this person? When those people come and they stand up in your pulpits, or when they come knock on your door and they come and call you from their offices, ask them flat out, what you gonna do for us? Don't tell me what you like to do. Don't tell me what you gonna try. Tell me what you gonna do and when you gonna have it done. And once you do that, that will make those candidates respect your vote. And that's when you start to get power to change things like the law, to change things like the resources in your community. You want to get money and funding for your schools and stuff like that. Your local politicians in Chicago, y'all need to start going at these aldermen's head. These your House of Representatives, your state reps, and your congressmen, start going at them and challenging them to say, I hear what you're talking about. What are you going to actually do in the next year, next 6 months? And have something tangible to hold them to.
Our co-host yesterday, Mary Datcher, said the same thing you just said. She said, get to know who your people are in power, hold them accountable. You know, I tell people now more than ever is a time to just press the reset button. If a global pandemic was not enough pressure on your neck, then what else could you want? We've had things of biblical proportion happen in 2020, and we're only 6 months into 2020. Okay, so let's think about this. Any wrongs that you've ever had, they need to be right. Any ill will, any whatever it is that has kept you from manifesting your greatness in the glory in which you should walk in, then I'm not getting why can't you press the reset button? Why can't you move forward and do some different things? And you're right about that. And another thing too, stop voting people in because they in your fraternity, sorority, or we all went to so and so school together. Or they kids and I in an organization and all that. That ain't nothing but a bunch of elite ass BS.
Yes, absolutely.
It really does not represent who you really think. It's elitism that voted them in and not genuineness.
And when I'm gonna tell you like this, people think, oh well, it's hard to do that. Let me tell you something. These people they have offices in your neighborhoods. If they ain't never in their office, why vote for them? If you can't go in there and request an audience with them, ain't no local politician ever too busy to not give you 15 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour of their time. They are making so much money in their salary, they ain't got nothing but time to listen to you. Trust and believe me. And if you can't go to their office and get an audience with them, and it ain't got to be 30 of y'all, if it's 1 or 2 of y'all, if y'all can't see y'all local politician, they don't deserve your vote, and you darn sure shouldn't be offering it up to them. Make them work for your vote, and tell your friends. You want to go and get on Facebook Live and say, yeah, I'm walking into Alderman such and such office trying to have a meeting with this person. He ain't returned my calls, or she ain't answering the phone, or she's not here, she's not available, so people can see what's going on. That's how you hold these people to task.
All right. Well, very good. I love it. I think it's absolutely incredible. So we just want to make sure everybody is completely knowledgeable on what it is that you need to do. If you're not necessarily sure, Google your candidates. Find out more information about your candidates. We live in a world now where all you have to do is say, hey, and who you looking for, and you'll be able to find what you're looking for. And do your due diligence, you guys. Do your due diligence, as well as become involved in your community. Only it's going to change is you becoming involved in your community. All right, brother. Well, I think we got that covered. So our next thing we're going to talk about is relationships and these mistakes that we make in relationships. I need some help. Before I need to be ready to get out here, so when the governor said stage 6 booty calls back in style, I can go back out again.
Yes, indeed. Now, this is the part of the show that I'm really excited about because this is where, and I think that these 3 points that I got, we're gonna really be able to do our thing. So,
Okay.
when we're talking about relationship mistakes, everybody knows that hey, we all want to be with everybody is designed to be with at least one somebody. There's at least one somebody out there for everybody. And one of the biggest problems that I believe that we have when we're trying to find that somebody, we're trying to find that person that we can literally just share our life with. That's essentially what it is. Aside from the fancy weddings and having the kids and all, just your everyday life, you want to find that person that you can share it with. And one of the biggest things that I've come to find in my experience, uh, as far as mistakes, is that we don't interview our potential mates. We don't interview them in depth enough or long enough. We everybody that you meet, and you tell me what you think about this, but everybody that you meet, it's like going to a concert. And what you're doing, you actually have a front row seat to the show. But you got to stay after the show and talk to that person, spend time with that person, and actually get backstage to see who that person really is. And sometimes we get so caught up in the performance. It's so nice and so lovely. We see the sparkling lights and the explosions and the music is good and the ambiance is so, but that's it. It's a 2-hour show now. Once that show is over, you got to get backstage to actually find out who it is you really talking to, who you really dealing with, because the more you talk to a person, naturally, their true self will begin to show. And I always tell, especially women, this: listen to what a man says, but you watch and see what he does, because what he does is who he really is. What you think about that?
Oh, you absolutely right. You 100%. You actually were speaking to me, because what I tell people a lot of times is you got to realize, as you said, this 90-minute show, whether it's a 3-hour show, whatever the case may be, that's Chat Daddy that is talking to the world. It's not who I am. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
This is a
Yes.
character. This is a personality. This is, and so you're not dating this person. You're not. And so I'm a completely different person in my relationships. And you're absolutely right. As much as I joke and tease about the booty call, my friend that I hang out with, we get that. We understand that it's a whole different person behind all of this. Once this is said and done, then I pull my hair back up and I look different and everything.
Yes.
And right. And I had to develop that to be able, and people don't get that. They think that they're in a relationship with Chat Daddy. And it's like, no, you're not. You're, right. Yeah. This is what I do to continue to keep my brand and myself out there, but not in my love life. No, not at all. I'm not, completely opposite in my relationship. And you're right. You really should interview people.
You got to. I mean, and that's okay. And here's my thing too. When you see that man or you see that woman that looks to have it all together, they are fabulous in what they do and how they treat you. It's okay to appreciate the show, but that's not the reality. Just like when you think about Juanita Jordan. When you see Michael Jordan on the court, he's amazing. He is the man. But Juanita was dealing with the real Mike every night. Right. So it's a difference in that. And it's like, that's who you really want to get to know when you want to share your life with somebody. You want to try to get behind the veil, get backstage to really see what you do. Not to say that everybody's backstage is terrible, but you really need to know what it is that you're dealing with when the lights are off and the curtain is closed and the show is packed up and it's just you and that person, not 6 days later, but 6 months later. And it's just y'all in the apartment or in the house or wherever y'all at. That's who you really want to get to know and talk to. And you can't do that in 4 dates. You can't do that in 4 weeks. You have to spend time in that interview process. And it's not really something that's just, the worst thing in the world. It's quite enlightening to find out who a person really is.
Yep, yep, yeah. My
Yeah.
my biggest thing was when my friend, it's been a year now, and I said a year. I said, oh wow, because my biggest thing is that I believe that people should experience all four seasons with someone before they make that
Yes.
commitment to them.
Yes.
You need to experience summer with somebody. You need to experience fall, spring.
Yes.
Make sure you cover all the seasons because I'm like you, bro. I interview everybody. I want to know where you come from, who you are. I've met some of the most
Yes.
fascinating people ever, and when they told me their childhood, their upbringing, a lot of the deficiencies they went
Mm.
through as a
Come
child,
on.
I was like, oh my God, I didn't go through that, so I really wouldn't know how to respond and
Yeah.
what to do and I just think you really should be looking for a soulmate when you are out here trying to find somebody to be in a situation with.
Yep.
It's one thing if they're a booty call, but when you're trying to really make something of a relationship, you're looking for a soulmate.
Yes. And a lot of times too, like you said, when you look into people's childhood, look at what if they had both parents in the household and all that all of that matters because what it's gonna look like for you, and it's gonna come down to this: you and that other person, do you have the tools to actually deal with me and my mess, and do I have the tools to actually deal with you and your mess? And everybody's not equipped, and not that you're a bad person, because
Mm-hmm.
we all got our stuff now. We all got our bags, and we want to unpack them. But it's just some things that you can't pull out of a suitcase for me that I'm not equipped to handle. It's like when you start to unpack who you really are with somebody, you have to look at those things in spite of all of the wonderful things about them and say, well, now I don't know if I'm really equipped to handle this. Like, for instance, somebody who has a drinking problem or a drug problem. There are some people who can be equipped to help that person through that. There are a lot of people who are not. They just don't have the tools to deal with a person and their drinking or their addiction. So you can't go there with that person, not because they the worst person ever and you think you better than them or you stuck up. Nope.
Right.
Look here, baby. I don't have the tools. I'm not equipped to deal with you and what you got going on. I wish I could, and I really do
Right.
like you, but I can't go there with you because I'm gonna let you down.
Yes. Yes. Compatibility is key. And that's what a
Yes.
lot of people don't understand. People go after somebody because they look good, great body, the money they
Yep.
make, what family they come from, how
Yes.
bougie are they, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, listen, that don't mean a bean, a hill of beans. That don't
Yes.
mean SHI. Y'all know what I'm saying.
Yes.
You
Absolutely.
really got to find somebody that when you are down and out and don't know where your next meal is coming
Yes.
from, how can they encourage you? How can they
Yes.
inspire you? You
Yep.
need to find somebody that, if your health was to fail, would they be there for
For
you?
you.
And
Who gonna
so
stick
that's,
around for that? Yep.
really the most important thing
Yeah.
ever when it comes to developing a good relationship with
Yep.
somebody.
You find you a man and he can hit your spot and make your toes curl up, but you get sick and he don't know the first thing about how to take care of you.
Right, right.
Don't know the first thing about it.
One of our listeners and viewers tonight, Watika, said she's a counselor. She said, but it's hard to counsel someone to love you. And I agree. It really is. It's hard, because there's no written manual on
Nope.
how to love. There is not.
Nope.
And the thing is that love is based on trial and error, but
Yes.
it's always the best when you find somebody who really wants to be your soulmate,
Yep.
somebody that you can be vulnerable enough with to say, can we try this and can we move together and make
Yes.
it all work? And that's the way I look at all of, the relationships,
Yep.
and it's interesting. A lot of people put money out there and really money means nothing. You can get with somebody that's got so much money and they treat you like, something on the bottom of your
Yes.
shoe. They
Exactly.
can be abusive, disrespectful. So money has never been the driving force for me. It has
Yeah.
never been. It's a good personality and genuineness.
Yeah.
And are you there for me through thick and thin?
Yep.
What's next on our list, Doc? You're doing a good
Next
job tonight.
next would be, we don't debrief past breakups to learn the life lessons of that past breakup. So what
Mm-hmm.
I mean by that is, you get into a relationship for whatever reason, You dating your nasty girl, or you dating your bad boy, and you go through the motions, and whether it lasts for 3 months or for 3 years, when you do have that breakup because you done reached your limit and you just can't take no more, now you want to exhale and you done. What we tend to do is we tend to take all of that stuff from that relationship, box it up, put it in a briefcase or put it in a luggage bag, and we just put it over our shoulder and we just carry it around and we just keep on going. Then when we get into the next relationship and we get past the show and now we getting to know each other, we take that bag off our shoulder because it's heavy, unzip it, and unpack all of that stuff from the past and say, see, this is what I've been carrying around. This is what I got to deal with. And now you got that expectation for that other person to help you unpack that mess from that past relationship. And that's not his or her job. It's a thing where once you find out what has happened, because it's three sides to a relationship: your side or his side and her side, and then it's the truth. And that's the part that we kind of leave out. We will be the first to say, she did this to me, dog, and she did that to me, man. I can't believe her, man. And then we'll turn right back around and women will say, he did me like this, girl, and I gave him everything, girl. He just did me so wrong. But then we don't say, well, what did I allow that person to do to me? What that first time that person hit me, that first time that she cheated on me, why did I keep going back and allow her to do it to me again? And we don't get to that part to say, well, maybe I need to work on myself and my own self-esteem, or I need to work on the things that I've been failing at and allowing people to do to me, as opposed to playing the victim and then say, this is what I won't stand for anymore. So now when you move into that next relationship, you've worked through that past stuff. And now maybe some of your standards have changed. Some of your expectations have changed. And now it's about you presenting yourself and who you are to that person. And it's not a thing of me bringing all this baggage that I want you to help me unpack.
And you know, the one thing, you know, I thank God for giving me the gift of discernment. I think the one thing I thank the Lord every day.
Yes.
Ever since I was a little child, I've always had the gift of discernment. I tell people I've had some interesting circumstances, situations. I've been in some very tumultuous relationships, but the moment I detect some BS, I cut it off. So, Brian, that little bag of bringing things from other relations, I don't do that. I can't, because, you know, by the time Erykah Badu had wrote that song "Bag Lady," I got what she was saying. A lot of people, I'm like, y'all carry around all this baggage of other people. Once I figure out it's some BS, I'm good. I have no problem with detaching from people and situations. Been doing it my entire life. I don't know if it's the most healthiest thing, but I tell you this much: I don't let relationship stuff wear me down. It's life issues, but not relationship stuff. I don't know if that's because I'm a Scorpio.
Nope, that's exactly. But that is something that everybody should be able to exercise. That's a tool. That's a tool essentially that you have in your belt, and you know how to use it. When you think about all of the things that go on with other people and their mess, and you allow that there, and that's what a lot of people that I talk to and I counsel, I say, people can do a lot of things, but you have to take accountability and responsibility for the things you've allowed that person to do. Because some of us, we are actually addicted to the dysfunction. Some of us like that dysfunction. Some of us thrive in that dysfunction. It's like that whole back and forth thing. People call it, oh, we like opposites attract, and it's the makeup part that's good. Yeah, but you got to realize that some of that dysfunction, you get into it so deep that it becomes functional to you. That's how you function, is through that dysfunction. And when you're in that type of relationship and you going through those type of cycles, it don't matter who you with. You all about that dysfunction. And if they ain't bringing it, they lame. If they ain't bringing it, I can't do him, girl. Nope, he a square. You have to realize to say, well, maybe that part about me dealing with this man that's beating me could be traced back to watching my mama getting beat by her boyfriend, getting beat by my daddy, and that's the thing I need to work through first to understand that ain't love. And when you can do that and have that, like you said, you see that warning sign come up, you see that first bit of drop, say, nope, I'm out. When you can do that, what you're doing is you're saving yourself so much time and so much heartache being with the wrong person, and you're allowing yourself and putting yourself in position to actually be with the right person. And so many
Yep.
of us don't figure that out until we in our 40s, until we knocking on 50, and we start to value things like companionship. We start to value things like pleasant, nice. those basic things that we should have been thinking about back then. I just want somebody who's respectful. Somebody I can take somewhere and they ain't gonna cuss out the waitress if something wrong with the order. You know, it's like those are the type of things that we don't really start to appreciate until we get older, because that's when we start to get that discernment. That's when we start to appreciate actual just basic people quality, just that basic thing of just saying, this person smile, this person ain't got an attitude, this person speaks to other people, they don't walk around with a frown on their face. That's why I love the fact that you got that about yourself, because so many of us don't.
No, bro, I've always been that way. The first time I ever went to go live with somebody, and it was their place,
Yeah.
and they put me out. I ain't never ever lived with nobody since then. You understand me? I don't give a damn if I gotta live under a bridge in a box.
They put you out.
You are putting me out. And I was so petty that we had bought a fish tank together. I scooped out all of my fish out the tank, put them in a Tupperware bowl, put the hole in the lid, and rolled back to my mama's house with them fish between my legs in that Tupperware bowl. I even took the toilet paper off the toilet paper roll because I had bought that roll of toilet paper.
No, you didn't, brother. No, you didn't.
So I ain't never gave nobody else that chance to put me out.
He said,
I done got a lot of folks out, but ain't nobody ever had a chance to put me out ever again.
He said, look here.
Right.
You can put me out, but I'm taking my two guppies with me and my Oscar.
Do you understand me? It was a hot summer day, and I'm riding across town with a Tupperware full of fish between my legs, trying to get back to my mama's house. Because there was my damn fish.
Oh my God.
You understand me? Right. Right.
Patty Murphy is in the building.
Right. You ain't gonna So ever since then, I have kept bricks over my head. I'll allow you to come, and now I don't even want you to come stay with me. You need to have your own. I need to have my own.
Goodness.
Oh yeah.
Boy,
yeah.
Boy, you got me sweating.
Well, I'm telling you, right. You got one time to do me. One time to do me. After that, I ain't playing. I am not playing. You got to prove yourself. You know, my friends always tease me and say, you always waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Right.
And I ain't. Yeah. The older I get, getting worse. You know what I'm saying? Why is that, Brian?
Oh, my God. That's hilarious. Boy, I tell you. My last one was this. And this one is, I think, is probably kind of the most important one, and it's just all encompassing. We have such, and this is really, really pertaining to us Black folks. We have such a problem with us not seeking mental help. And I'm not just talking about us being crazy. I'm not just talking about somebody who, you know, is a person that you say, oh, that person crazy, or they bipolar. No. When there are things that happen in your life that are traumatic, that, you know, are just devastating, you know, especially when it comes to things that lead you into real depression, like I'm talking clinical depression, we need to start going to see therapists, y'all. We really do. We are so conditioned to work things out within ourselves, and we ain't doing nothing but packing stuff down in our souls and in our spirits. We just take some emotions, whatever happened to us from when we 5 or whether we 50, and we try to suck it up. We try to, yeah, sorry, I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna work through it. No, sometimes when you hurting, and hear me, y'all, when y'all hurting, when you feel as though you've been devastated and it ain't nobody there to help you, Your back is against the wall. Don't nobody care about. When you have those type of moments in your life, go see a therapist, because that therapist is gonna be that person that will let you spill your guts. Ain't none of it gonna ever get back. It ain't gonna wind up on Facebook. It ain't gonna wind up in your friend circle, because
Right.
we will confide in our friends and we will tell our friends our innermost secrets. And then as soon as we fall out with that person, what happens? They put your business out there. Go see a
Right.
therapist. Because most of the times when unless you got a wonderful friend like me who can really help, but I'm just saying, most of the times we talk to people and we talk to friends and they really not helping us. They're just hearing
No.
us out. A
Yep.
therapist kind of does the same thing, but they also give you some tools on how to work through those things. And that's really something that we really have to start investing in. We spend money on Gucci. We spend money on Jordans. We spend money on all these expenses. We buy 26-inch rims and all that kind of stuff. Take you a couple $100 instead of going to get your nails and your weave and your yaki and all that, and go and spend some time with a therapist. If you got a job and you got insurance, use it. Use your insurance and go spend some time. You can go once a month. You can go once a week. If you got to go 3 times a week, just go. Any and everybody. No matter if you the low you think you just, oh, I ain't got no money to. There are so many resources out here that you can find to where people will help you. There are plenty of therapists who will give you a pro bono session.
That's right.
Go out
Brian,
there and find it.
why do you think it's such a stigma with our people? Our people, I ain't crazy. I ain't going to tell my business. Is that because, Big Mama and our parents and
Yes.
people like that, man, they didn't do any of that. Me and you, we considered modern age Negroes that believe in self-care and making ourselves better. But Big Mama and them didn't believe in that.
They were the big, and that's one of the biggest failures of the generations before us. And I'm talking like from the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s. They were the biggest keepers of secrets. They were the generation that taught us, don't tell when your uncle molests you. Don't tell when your stepfather rapes you. Don't tell when the choir director touch you. Don't tell when this person when your auntie make you have sex with her. We were the biggest ones that were keeping those secrets. We taught our children. They taught us, don't you tell nobody. Our business is our business. And those same people that were around us that were just predators preying on us as children, they just stayed around. That uncle that you had that stayed in the basement, that was in the war, who was shell shocked and had all types of PTSD, didn't nobody get no help for him. They let him go get his pint every day, and he came and he stayed in your basement until he died. And whatever he did, or whether it was chase the kids on the street or whether he did something, you just put up with it. And we did not go and get help for those people, and we taught our children to do the same. So that's one of the reasons why we bottle everything up and keep them secrets, and it don't help us. It literally has been one of those threads that we've just been pulling, and it's been just unraveling us as a community.
Because in order for the world to recognize us and the world to really give us our just due, or as we always say, the 40 acres and a mule that we have been deserving, I'm with you, Brian, that there's a lot of work that we need to do to make ourselves better people. I tell people, I work on myself every day. I thank God every day for allowing me to take another breath of air to wake up every day. But there's something you need to do to change your dynamic. When was the last time you changed your hair? When was the last time you changed your fashion sense? When was the last time you did anything different to your home? A lot of us are just very stagnant with where we are in the world. And I think a lot of that is because we're traumatized also. What do you think?
I agree. And you hear a lot of people who say, well, this stuff that's been done to us has been over 400 years. It's systemic racism. It's been happened to us. We've been trained to do this. We've been beat down mentally. Let's say that's the truth. Let's not debate that. Look at it like this. If you see a car on the side of the expressway and that car ain't moving, ain't nothing, it's just sitting there, you're more inclined to just drive past it.
Mm-hmm.
If you see a car sitting on the side with hazard lights flashing, you kind of like slow down a little bit to see what's happening. However, if you see a car on the side of the road and you see somebody outside trying to change a tire or trying to fix it or trying to do something with it, people are more inclined to stop for that car with that person that's trying to fix it than the one that's just sitting there. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Chris Rock that said, if you see a man trying to move a couch, you're more inclined to help that person because he's already trying to help himself. And if we
Right.
get into that mentality of saying, yeah, we can't control everything and we can't fix everything overnight. But if we get to the point to where we start working on ourselves and people start to see us working on us, they are going to be more inclined and more convicted to do something. If I see a little old 97-year-old lady outside on the highway with a jacking up her car, I'm more inclined to pull over and help that little old lady because not only is she old and I can clearly see that, but she's trying to do something that I could help her do. Same
That's
thing,
right.
and it's the same thing when we just see us. When we see us struggling with certain things, yeah, everybody would love a handout. Everybody love when you just give them something and bless them out your spirit. But when you see that person actually trying to do something, you are more inclined to help that person than the person who's sitting back waiting. That's
Yes.
just human nature.
Yes, sir. Yep, you're absolutely right. All right. Well, with
Yeah.
that being said, good job on that, brother.
Thank you,
That was
sir.
our relationship portion of this. I want to remind everyone you are watching the Real Chat Daddy Show. I am your host, Chat Daddy. I am here Monday through Thursday nights from 7 until 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can watch this show via the Real Chat Daddy Show page on Facebook or on YouTube. I ask that you please like the Real Chat Daddy Show on Facebook. Please, please, please. Also, go over to YouTube and subscribe to the Real Chat Daddy Show channel. I would greatly appreciate your subscription, your likes, your follows, all those great things. Coming up on the Thursday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show, tomorrow night, my good friend, Mr. Chris Avent, will sit in as our co-host. You know, Chris and I are brothers from other mothers, and we always have a great time. Tomorrow night, also joining the show is legendary radio personality and community activist Bonnie Deshawn. She'll be here tomorrow night. We're talking about Juneteenth celebrations that will be taking place here in the Chicagoland area. Friday is Juneteenth, and Juneteenth is really getting a lot of attraction this year and a lot of leverage. And so we're going to talk about some wonderful Juneteenth events. And then tomorrow night, the creative folks of Real Men Cook will stop by and talk about their 2020 virtual Real Men Cook celebration on Father's Day. And don't forget, if you want information about the 2020 Real Men Cook, all you have to do is text the word Real Men Cook to 844-773 8392 844-773-8392, and they'll be here tomorrow night. And don't forget, Real Men Cook has been around since the 90s, y'all. Can you believe that? Like old school pages.
Man,
Yes.
that's what's up.
All right. My co-host tonight is the one and only Mr. Brian Redmond. He's been here. We've had a great time debating some things. I love all the feedback that you guys have been giving tonight on all the pages. I'm trying to monitor them all and give the feedback. Brian is the creator and host of the Relationship Rehab, which is a radio show that is on YouTube. So it's kind of like this show. Radio is in his blood, much like my blood. And so we're trying to get used to these digital media platforms, as well as he's a gun enthusiast. And Brian, I might have to have you back one night just to talk about the whole gun enthusiast thing.
Oh, man,
but being a former law enforcement officer, you know, I get that. And then I want to talk about Father's Day and all these blessings that you got coming down the pike. So go right ahead.
Well, I definitely want to say this. If I'm not mistaken, you are the first person to ever have an actual Father's Day week. So I must salute you to that, sir. I am all for that. When I was like, wait a minute, did he say Father's Day week? I said, well, hot damn, go on here, brother. Dude, I love that. I love that. That whole idea of that, man, awesome. So kudos to you for that.
Thank you. I
Man,
mean, Michelle, I am Chat Daddy. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, I got to celebrate in a grand way. And then I just know some of the most fascinating fathers, or either like yesterday, Mary Datcher had an amazing story about her dad, who was a legend on the West Side. So,
yeah.
you know, the dad thing, dads never get the love and kudos that they deserve.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm. It's so refreshing to just see somebody just taking that time out to just do something like this, and just to just say, hey, it's 7 days of us just highlighting fathers, and just thinking about that whole thing. I was thinking, I said, well, man, the whole importance and the impact that fathers have. It's like, we have this thing where sometimes people talk about fathers and they talk about mothers, and there's a competition thing. And I am so against that, because I believe that fathers and mothers, it takes two for a reason. And it's not that one is more important than the other. And sometimes people will try to pit those two against each other. And that's not the case. What a father does cannot be duplicated by a mother, and vice versa. What a mother does cannot be duplicated by a father, which is why I am such a just outright enthusiast of just families and having both parents in the home. I'm not one of those, oh, we can successfully co-parent and we can figure out a way to be friends. Nope. We can have joint custody. Nope. If you are with a woman, and a woman is with a man, and y'all have a child together, that means y'all supposed to raise them and be there together. And fathers, what they bring to the table cannot be duplicated nor imitated by mothers, and the same thing for mothers. So there should be a want, a desire, and an expectation of having both in the home. Absolutely. It's like one of the biggest things about fathers is that they're the gatekeepers. They're the gatekeepers of the house. They are the protectors. The things that happen to children, the things that happen to women, it's like, it's a lot of it is because fathers aren't in the home. One of the most chilling videos I've ever seen in my life was a video of a woman who was at home with she had like maybe a 6 or 7 month old kid, and a man literally, and it's all on tape. It's on the dude had one of the nanny cams set up, and this was some years ago. Guy literally kicked in the door and just immediately began to beat this woman and to assault this woman. And it was so chilling for me to watch. I said, I can only imagine what it was like for that father to watch that happen with his wife and his child laying right there on the couch while this was happening. And this dude, I mean, he drug her and beat her and all that kind of stuff. But the thing was this: we as men and as fathers, we pride ourselves on protecting our families. And that's not to say that a woman won't do it, but we will lay it down. We will lay our life down, just like that WWE MMA guy that just died a few weeks ago.
Yes,
he died, and his thing was save my children first. That's something that we just have in us. Just like how a mother is just a natural nurturer. She wants to care for, she'll take care of, her man, her children, all those kind of things. It's just in her to do that. That's one of the things that fathers do. We don't want nobody and won't let nobody. And we have the strength, and we have that just inbred in our souls and our DNA to protect ours and what it is that we have. And that's just something that is so important, especially to how when you hear the things and the terrible things that happen to children, when you hear about how women say, especially black women say they're the most unprotected class in the country. It's because we don't have fathers in the home. It's because we don't have those daddies that were there. And because we don't have those daddies, those women tend to be with men that don't come from a lineage of daddies. If you talking with a man and you dealing with a man, ask him that in your interview, like we mentioned earlier. Well, where's your father? Where's your father's father? And if they telling you that they're not in the picture, they was in jail, or they dead, or they wasn't around, they skated, or whatever the case may be, that's a key indicator on what type of man that he's going to be. There is a true deficiency that a man has when he does not grow up with his blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
It just
What
is.
lessons has fatherhood taught you the most? And see, you ended up having a daughter first, and now
Mm-hmm.
you're expecting a son that, in
Yeah.
just a month away from now. And
Yeah.
so, what has fatherhood taught you the most?
The biggest thing that I've learned, and I will say this, being a daddy is the greatest job in the world. There is no greater job. There is no greater job on the planet than being a daddy. And one of the biggest things that I've learned from being a father to a daughter, I didn't know beforehand how much she truly, truly depends on me and my positive reinforcement. You are so beautiful. You look so pretty. I love the way you wear that dress. I love the way that your hair is. I love the way that you talk. I love the way that you do this. You clean up your room. I mean, she literally lives for my blessing. I kid you not. Everything that she does it with that in mind. Now, with her mother, she wants to be her. That's her blueprint. And her father, I am I I'm I am her hero. I am that dude. I let the sun out and the moon every day just for her. That's what I tell her. I said, sweetheart, I do anything for you.
Aww.
I let the daddy every day. I let the sun out and I put it up and put the moon up every night just for you. I tell her that stuff because I know the impact that it has. Because what I'm preparing her for is, yes, she's gonna be independent. Yes, she's gonna know how to have her own, but she's also gonna know what to look for and what to expect from a man. And and
Answer.
and and I want her to meet a man that is better than me, that got everything I got and then some. That's what I want from her, and that's why I try to just the way that I treat her. I open the doors for her and all that kind of stuff. When she comes and just does little things like say, "Pick me up, daddy." Now she's 7, and I told her, I said, "I'm gonna pick you up until I can't no more." And I'll pick her up, and sometimes she just wants to just sit in my arms or sit on me just for 10 seconds or 10 minutes. She just wants that. She craves the energy that I bring as a father, and that is
Well,
something
now
that I did not expect.
that dynamic is getting ready to change because your first son is getting
Yeah,
ready to come into this
yeah,
picture.
yeah.
And so now, as your older, wiser friend, I almost feel like the great Buddha or somebody.
Talk to me.
How you gonna handle that now? Because
I'm what I'm
here that son coming along.
yeah. This is like I wanted a boy first, and I'm glad I got my daughter because, and I'm glad it worked out this way because what I have in store for him is I know that I'm his blueprint, and I know that he's gonna try to be what I am, and I have so much more to instill in him from a different perspective. And I'm glad I've laid that foundation with her because she is gonna always be daddy's girl. That ain't gonna never change. And I know that it's gonna be a little different with my son because that's gonna be like a mini me that I get to mold and shape because I'm looking at him to be a better man than me. That's my goal. I want to get him to the point to where I'm gonna give him the tools and teach him so that he can be a better man than me. I want him to do everything I did that's right and then some. That's what
I
I
love.
want for him. Yeah.
I do. I
Yep.
love it. I really, really do.
Yep.
Do you feel as if you were ready for fatherhood when it happened?
Yes, I do. And it's like, and I started late. I had my first. I was what 35. Was I 35? No, I was 38. Yeah, because I'm
Wow,
40.
I didn't know it right.
Yeah, I'm 40. I'm 46. So yeah, I
Okay.
was I was like 38, 39 when I
Okay.
had her. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So I started late, and one of the reasons why was because my dad and my mom, they divorced. Well, they separated when I was 3. They didn't get an official divorce till I was like 19, something like that. But My dad and my mom split up when I was 3, and my dad literally moved like a block around the corner, like 2 blocks around the corner. He bought a house around the corner, and that's where I always saw my father. So he was always there. But I say this all the time. I know I would have been a much better person. I would have been a lot further along in life and would have had a much more fruitful life had my dad and mom lived together. I see that. Yep. And it was like by the time I got to be a teenager, they were at the point to where they were getting along and they were, good at co-parenting and all that good stuff. But I saw what I missed when not having my daddy in the house every day. I really did. And my siblings did too. My older brother and older sister, we missed out on daddy being in the house every day. We just did. And that was one of the things that I always said. I mean, and my ex-wife and my wife today can tell you the same thing. I said up front, look here, if we have kids, I will never be without my children. I cannot do it. I will not allow my life to go on and our lives to go on without my kids. I promise that to myself, because my dad taught me so much. And it was like, that was one of the biggest things that I always that was that thing that I said, man, Daddy, I wish that you would have been in the house with me. And it was like, as I got older and was a grown man, my dad said it too. He said, I know how much I screwed up and how much I messed up because I wasn't in the house with y'all. I see what y'all missed out on, and it was like that. I'm going to tell you something. My dad, when he got older, our relationship got so much more better and it was so much stronger because we went from that young kid to older father to like daddy as men, and we talked real, and I got to spend a ton of time with my dad. So I really got to appreciate, and he was really honest with me. He was so transparent with me when we were grown, to let me know, like, man, like I didn't even realize, and it never dawned on me to even talk to my dad about what it was like. My daddy didn't have a daddy. And it was like that in itself. When I realized that and it hit me, I said, how in the hell did you do what you did as a father and you didn't have one? And he said, I just thought about what I missed out on and didn't want y'all to miss out on it. And I said, wow.
Do you see how long our people have been living in trial and error, because there are no written manuals to do any of this.
So true.
But if you've come from dysfunction and the dysfunction continues to be dysfunctional, how the hell do you think anybody's going to ever be on the right track? And I think a lot of us at a certain age demographic decided that the dysfunction was going to end at us. And I think that's why a lot of these families are so disjointed and not as strong as they used to be, because the dysfunction was never addressed. It should have been addressed.
Yes. And it was so impactful to have that because he was transparent. It opened my eyes up to realize, and I tell people this all the time, is just, fatherly advice and just life advice. You learn 2 ways. You either learn from what not to do by watching other people, and you learn what to do from watching other people and living your life. That's what you use when you don't have nothing. When you ain't got nothing. Your parents wasn't there. You grew up in a foster home. You didn't have this. You lived on the streets since you were 6. When you don't have anything, live by that alone, and that's some cement for you to start your foundation. You learn from other people by what to do and what not to do. Look at the bad that happened in your life and say, I'm gonna do the opposite of that. You see somebody else that's doing something that's good and that's positive. It's okay to follow that person and to look and say, I'm going to do everything this person do. I'm going to follow this person. I'm going to carry this person's book. I'm going to carry this person back. Whatever it is you need to do, attach yourself to good things and the positive things, and you will change your life. Whether you do it, I mean, it'll happen organically is what I'm getting to. It just will.
I witnessed a drug overdose when I was a teenager, and I was with somebody someplace and they OD'd, and I had to get them back to where we were. And I thank God I had a great memory knew how to remember. And we talking about I had to be no more than 13 or 14 years old.
Wow.
And from that point on in my life, I always was told, or in my mind, stay cognizant of where you are, stay cognizant of your surroundings.
Yes.
Always remember how you got where you got. Pay attention
Yes.
to where you going, how you got there, everything. And just, you know, and when you see people do the wrong thing, because again, I saw a table full of what I thought was flour.
Yeah.
Who knew that all these people were ODing and all of that? And hell, I didn't know any of these people, and that wasn't what I wanted to do. And so that's why that never became attractive to me, because I actually witnessed somebody, you know, OD
like
and
that,
I had to get them back because I was staying with them and had to memorize how do we get back. And you know, and so you learn quick at a young age of what not to do and what's not going to work for you. You know,
and that terrified me. As far as like when crack and coke and all that kind of stuff was pop, you know, because we grew up in the 80s, and
that's right.
Like, when what I saw prominent people in my neighborhood, the coolest cats, the biggest dope dealers that you could see. I mean, I saw those guys literally go from nothing to having it all and to losing it all because they use their own dope.
That's
and it literally terrified me. I said, if they got hooked on it, I don't even want to try it. I was scared. And I've been in situations where people have pulled out just the littlest bit of cocaine. I'd be like, I'm out. Hey, man, we just partying, man. I know you just partying, bro. I don't party like that. I'm gone. Because it's like, and I wasn't the guy. I've been in a lot of circles and I've been in a lot of places. I was one of those people where I explored the entire city. I know how the rich folks live up north on the Gold Coast. I done been to the mansion party. You have too. And we know how the lifestyles that are available to be lived in like Chicago. And it's like seeing that kind of stuff, it would always take me back to the hood. I'd be like, man, you remember what happened to such and such?
Absolutely.
You remember what happened to such and such when he tried it? You remember what he did? He did it too. I'd be like, nope, I'm good, boss. Man, we just partying, man. We got all it. Nope, I'm good.
Yep. You know what? I'm gonna have to have you back on one night because we really could have a conversation about just memory lane and you know, I've shared this story before, but I actually was friends with 4 of Jeffrey Dahmer's victims.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Let me tell you something. You
and
really
don't realize you grew up in Chicago and was, you know, and I do. But 4 of Jeffrey Dahmer's victims I knew. You know what I'm saying?
You really need to just set up. You need to just like tell stories because people don't know this. But if you don't know Art is not. He's very popular. Everybody know Art. He's one of those just Chicago staples. He's one of the people that's just always been around the city. But Art has been around and knows so many people. I can't tell you all the time when I would run into Art. I mean, because especially back then, we had pages and stuff. We wasn't on the phone all the time on cell phones. I would always see him at an event. I'd be there. We'd be at some music event or some, you know, just party or whatever. And I look up, I said, oh shit, there go Art. He was always around. And it's like, you have so many stories, bro. You need to like literally just tell some of your stories, man. I mean, people would just be shocked at the things that you just like, I didn't know about that fish story. That fish story is that's epic.
Look, that was the first and only person that ever put me. You'll never get that chance again.
What you're not gonna do is ever put me out of anywhere.
I'm taking my damn fish. How about that? Yeah.
Oh my God, that is gold.
And I'm taking the salt out the salt shaker. In the salt.
You keep your salt shaker
That's
You
how.
keep
That's
your
right.
salt shaker.
I am Eddie LaBelle when it comes to stuff like that. You will never
You can
put me
keep
out.
your salt shaker, bitch, but this salt is mine.
It's
You put it in my
This
tip
cheap
like
ass
that.
salt shaker, you can keep it, but the salt is mine. Yes. With that
Oh
being
my
said,
God.
look, brother, we are going. Somebody said, "What happened to the fish?" You're right.
He
You're right. What
fried
happened
it.
to
He
the fish?
fried it up.
No, I went to put my fish in another aquarium. Anybody know I love taking care of my fish until the tank get on my nerves. Other than that, I'm okay. Well,
Yeah.
Brian, with that being said, brother, I got to have you back on. You know what? Me and you have talked, but I really do want to do a back down memory lane and
Okay.
kind of talk about things that happened during certain time periods. I
Yeah.
really would, because a lot of our problems as a race of people have been here for quite a while. We've had so much devastation, we've had so much misfortune that we really do need to talk through why certain things were the way they were. You know?
Yes. And
Yeah.
I agree, man. I would love to do that because, and I think one of the things that people can learn from this, we need to really, and when we talking about us being better people, better America, better country, better black folks, just better people. We have to get back to those days to where it's okay to offend somebody if you're offending them to good works. If I call you out your name and it's to save your life or to get your attention or to get you to do something or to think differently, it's worth it and it's okay. I can't tell you how many times my feelings was hurt as a kid and as a young adult. And my feelings was hurt and I may have taken something the wrong way, but it was to offend me to be better. And that should always be welcome. Always. We can't, this whole holding everybody by the hand and trying to look out for everybody's feelings and all. It's so damaging to us in the long run. It doesn't teach us how to deal with adversity. It doesn't teach us how to deal when things don't go our way. And we have such a sense of entitlement, especially our young people, that we don't know how to work and build anymore because we're so used to somebody giving it to us because we think we're supposed to be given to us. Just because it's there don't mean it's yours. Sometimes you got to work for it and you got to go through some stuff to get to some stuff.
Yes, sir. And another thing, we don't understand what the meaning of love is about. We don't get it. We think it's a fairy tale. We think it's far fetched.
Yes.
We think it's a fairy tale.
Yes.
No, it's not.
It's not
It's
what
a
you see
real
on
thing.
TV.
It really happens.
Love,
Yeah.
love is that job that you work, that you go to because you kind of really like it, but you kind of really need it, so you're more committed to it, and you're going before you know it. You done put in 30 years, and you like, wow, I really did all of that. That's what love is. Love is a job, and if you ain't going to work every day, you ain't gonna find it.
That's why I love doing what I do right here with this. You understand me? Nothing
absolutely.
can shut me down. I just believe I was destined to talk to people, put it out there, have stimulating conversation, great advice exchange between people. The more we hear other people speak on positive, good things, whether we right or wrong about it, it's healthy dialogue that's necessary and neat. You know what I'm saying? And so just honored. Brother, tell these people how they can find you, follow you, and all that good stuff.
Yes, you can go to YouTube and just type in The Relationship Rehab, and you will see this magnificent man come up on the screen with hundreds of videos and shows. Go and subscribe to the channel, check out the videos, and look, leave me comments. People that know me and go to my show, y'all, I read my comments. Watch my content and tell me what it is that you think about it. I always say this, and this is something that I've actually learned from Art. I'm all about having the conversation. My channel, it is a platform for us to have a conversation. I learned that from Art. I learned that also from one of my brothers, Tommy Sotomayor. I don't know if y'all ever heard of him. He has a great movie out called A Fatherless America. But you guys taught me to say, yeah, have your opinion, have your point of view, but have a platform to where people can bring their points of views, bring their ideas, and challenge what it is you say. Because if you're righteous in what you're doing and what you're saying, you should always be open to a conversation. And that's one of the things that I'm all about. And my other channel is the United Guns of America. That is a pro 2A gun enthusiast channel. I am, well, I was a certified NRA pistol instructor, but since I moved, I haven't renewed yet. But I'm working that out now. I'm about to do that again because I can teach pistol class and teach you about guns. But that channel not only has gun reviews, but it also does a lot of my police video breakdowns. I talk about police stops. I talk about the way police do stuff, the stuff they do bad, the stuff they do good. And I try to do that to educate people, especially us brothers and young brothers, on how to interact, how to deal with the police, and how to know how important it is to know the law. When you know the law, you can hold policemen accountable to that law. When you don't know the law, that's when you're at their mercy and you're at whatever type of, if you're dealing with a good cop or a bad cop, you are under their authority, and if you don't know what to do, you can definitely fall victim to bad policing. So if you get a chance, check out both of those channels. That's United Guns of America and The Relationship Rehab. Tell me what you think. I always have my shows opened up to where we can have conversations and stuff. And brother, I'm definitely gonna have you on. We're gonna start doing some relationship stuff. Cause I
anytime.
Like
anytime. You know, I tell people it does not matter your preference, your any of that. Relationships are relationships. And look, I love talking about it. So whenever you want me as a guest on, please let's talk about it, because you know we've got to get better at our relationships. I would love to see Black love come back into the forefront. I really would. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I really would. Well, brother, you've done an outstanding job tonight. Congratulations to you and the missus. I can't wait to hear the announcement about Sonny Boy when he finally arrives here. I want to wish you a happy Father's Day. And any particular plans Sunday? Do you know what they're gonna do for you? Or is it all a surprise?
I think we either. Well, I know I got a surprise coming. My wife been telling me that she got a surprise coming for me, but I don't know if we're gonna either go out and eat. We was talking about it. Depends on how she feel because she got the baby and stuff. So if she's up to it, we'll probably go out to eat. If not, I can stay home. You know, I'm a simple man. You give me some good music, a cigar, and some good food, and a little drink. Sir. Little wine, little drink, I'm good. So I can do that and do just fine. So yes, absolutely. So that's probably what the plan is gonna be. It's gonna be tentative depending on how she feels. But other than that, to all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day week. Let's keep that going to all of y'all. And thank you, brother, for having me on the show. I love you. I appreciate you. And we're gonna definitely start doing some stuff together, man, because I definitely enjoyed myself tonight.
All right, brother. Well, I appreciate you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. You did an outstanding job tonight. You kept this conversation flowing, and that's what's necessary. I wanted to honor you as just being a dad that I see visually on social media. I pay attention to a lot of people's posts, but you really are very dedicated to your daughter. The pictures are absolutely adorable. And you really do put yourself out there. If it's a tutu, whatever she wants to do, you do it. You do it. Yeah. And that's what's so beautiful. And just knowing you over the years and watching you grow into a grown man and a grown man that's standing up and doing the right things in this world. God bless you and your family, brother. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, man, because it has been, man, has it been 30 years? Or close
yeah, pretty much. Absolutely.
We right on the cusp of it because you knew me when I was out there in them streets. I knew me.
I know, right. Look, this is the new slimmer you, the daddy. Right. That's all right.
So it's been a journey, man.
Tell people, wherever I knew you from, as long as you don't change, that's what I love. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people over a 30-year time will change. There are people, you know, that you don't even communicate and talk with. But you, no matter the look, the difference, the way you live, whatever, you've always been kind and gracious and been good to me. Man. So I appreciate you for that.
Brother. I really love you guys so much. I appreciate you guys.
God bless you. All right.
Yes, indeed.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of yet another amazing show. We're celebrating Father's Day week on the show every night this week. Tomorrow night, we'll be talking about Juneteenth as well as Real Men Cook 2020. A lot of wonderful guests. Don't forget to go through, got tongue tied. I'm tired now. The Real Chat Daddy Show on Facebook. The Real Chat Daddy Show on Facebook. Like the page. You can also watch encore performances of each and every show on that page. Also, over at YouTube, if you could subscribe to The Real Chat Daddy Show, that would be wonderful. You can also see encore shows there. Stop by my website, therealchatdaddy.com, therealchatdaddy.com. Follow me, like me, do all those wonderful things. It's been a beautiful evening. I'm getting ready. I've had iced coffee, so that means I'm going to be up a while, bro. That means I'm going to be like Energizer Buddy for a few hours. So I have some things I need to do around the house. And other than that, God bless you all. I'll talk to you tomorrow night for the Thursday night edition of the show. On behalf of my co-host, the host of The Relationship Rehab, the one and only Mr. Brian Redman, and myself, yours truly, Chat Daddy, we want to say good night. God bless you all. Stay safe and see you tomorrow. Good night, everybody.